At the start of the movie, we are shown a child named Alan Heckman, who is playing marbles alone. Then another child comes there and starts playing marbles with Alan. Soon a bond forms between them, and they both start playing together. The other child's name is Louis, and Alan tells Louis that he doesn't live here. He had come here with his parents for a day to visit. Then they both start walking together. And on the way, Alan sees an abandoned factory, and they both go into the abandoned factory. Then Alan sees a wooden plank there, and under that plank there was a big chamber. And Alan slowly walks on that plank and reaches the other side. Then Alan tells Louis to do the same. Louis is a bit scared, but on Alan's insistence, he also starts walking on the plank. Since Louis is very close to the boundary, he tries to jump to reach the other side. But he can't jump properly and ends up hanging on the edge of the floor. Louis asks Alan for help, but Alan is also very scared seeing all this. Then Louis's hand slips and he falls from a height into that chamber. Alan goes down to look and sees Louis lying on the ground. Alan goes down to check on Louis and sees blood completely spread around Louis. And as Alan's feet step into Louis's bloodstains start forming on his shoes. Alan gets very scared and runs away from there. And Alan doesn't tell anyone about Louis and leaves that city with his parents. Then we are shown a time a few years later where adult Alan has started working as a cutter for people. In this world, cutters were those people who looked at the video footage of a person's entire life's memories and selected some beautiful moments to create a biography video. And these videos were shown to the loved ones at the person's funeral so that people could know how good the deceased person was and how well they lived their life. In fact, this technology in the movie was called the Zoe Implant. The Zoe Implant is a memory chip that is placed in a person's brain after they are born. After this chip is implanted, everything a person sees with their eyes in their life gets recorded in this chip so that after their death, it can be seen what the person did in their life, and their loved ones can also see it all. This was the cutter's job, and this video footage was called Rememory. Then the movie shows that Alan has made a rememory film for a man named Denny, and Denny's brother is watching that film. And in this rememory film, all the beautiful memories of Denny from his birth to his childhood and youth are being shown. Denny's brother is very happy watching this video clip and tells Alan that you made it very well. After Denny's brother leaves, Alan starts working on the rememory video again. And he sees a video clip in Denny's memory, in which Denny is badly beating his wife. Alan sees that video clip and deletes that scene. In the next scene of the movie, it is shown that Alan is traveling in the metro with a special laptop-like device. Then the train stops, and Alan gets off the train and enters a building where he meets his old friend Thelma, who is in the same profession. She also worked as a cutter. Thelma is with her assistants Michael and Hassan. Then Hassan shows Alan a pamphlet and says that the anti-Zoe Implant group has become very active, and this group says the implant is against God's will. Then Alan doesn't pay much attention to Hassan's words and asks Thelma why she called him. Thelma tells Alan that she got a new project for cutter work, but she rejected that project because she probably couldn't watch the videos in that project, because the person whose implant chip was taken out was a very big sinner and a bad person. That man's name was Charles Bannister. After Bannister's death, his wife was looking for a cutter to make a rememory video. Charles Bannister was actually a lawyer for an eye-tech company, and this was the same company that manufactured the Zoe implant. Thelma says, "I think you can do this cutter work." After hearing about Charles Bannister, Alan agrees to take on this work. After leaving that building, Alan stands outside a library and starts looking at a girl named Delilah standing inside the library. Then he goes inside and meets Delilah, who is a good friend of Alan. They talk a bit, and both Alan and Delilah go to Alan's house. At his house, Alan shows Delilah the device with which he edits implant videos and makes rememory videos. Then Alan shows Delilah a beautiful video in which he has edited a reverse aging video of a man, containing video footage from his old age to childhood. Delilah is very happy watching that video because she really likes Alan's work. And Delilah asks Alan, "You select all the good memories from a person's entire life's memory and put them in your video, but what about the other memories?" Alan says, "I am chosen for this work to select only the good memories and make their rememory video. No one cares about the other memories." Then Alan and Delilah get intimate together. The next day, Alan goes to Charles Bannister's wife's house to meet her, and Charles's wife tells Alan about some beautiful memories she spent with her husband. Alan is noting down all these things in a diary because he was going to add those moments to his video. "My husband was a very good person, and everyone should feel the same after watching his rememory video." Then Alan sees Charles's daughter Isabel standing behind, watching all this. In the next scene of the movie, it is shown that Alan has gone to Denny Monroe's rememory event. Around this event, a crowd of protesters gathers who want to completely shut down the Zoe implant, because they believed it was against religion. The video is playing there, and seeing it, Denny's relatives and loved ones become very emotional and happy, and even after Denny's death, they feel very close to him. Then a man named Fletcher comes to meet Alan, and Alan recognizes Fletcher because Fletcher was also a cutter, but he had been missing for the last 8 years and no one knew what he was doing now. Then Alan asks Fletcher why he came to meet him. Fletcher says, "I heard you got the job to make Charles Bannister's rememory video. I want you to give this job to me, and in return, I'll give you $5 lakh. Then Alan rejects Fletcher's offer because doing so was against the cutter's rules. No cutter can sell any client's memory video to anyone. Denny's memory video ends, and Denny's brother comes and thanks Alan. As Alan starts to leave from there, the protesters standing on the way start shouting at him, and they tell him to stop his work. In the next scene of the movie, it is shown that Alan has reached the eye-tech company's office, and from there, he was going to get Charles Bannister's Zoe Implant chip. Alan takes that chip to his house and starts working on Charles Bannister's rememory video, and Alan finds some videos in the implant chip's memory of Charles, in which he was doing bad things with his own daughter, Isabel. Seeing such a disgusting act, Alan ignores that video clip. Alan starts working on the next clips. Then a clip of a party held at Charles's house comes up in front of Alan, and in that clip, he sees a fat man wearing glasses. That man takes off his glasses and cleans his shirt. Alan is shocked seeing this and starts looking closely at that man's face. Then Alan rewinds and watches that clip again, and he remembers the way Lewis used to clean his glasses, who, when playing with him in childhood, had died. This man's face was also very similar to Lewis's face, and his way of cleaning glasses was exactly like Lewis's. This thought sticks in Alan's mind, that maybe this child is Louis, who is now grown up. And then Alan meets his friend Thelma. Alan tells Thelma that Fletcher had come to meet him, and hearing Fletcher's name, Thelma is surprised, because Fletcher was Thelma's assistant a few years ago. Alan asks what happened to Fletcher after he left working with you. Thelma says, for a few years, Fletcher was in contact with me, and later I found out that Fletcher's sister Laura's son had died of cancer. After that, his sister had gone a bit crazy, and she kept watching the Zoe Implant footage of her dead son Laura all day. After that, I don't know what happened with Fletcher. Alan says, do you think Fletcher was involved with the anti-implant group? Thelma says, you must have heard all these rumors. Alan says, Fletcher wanted to buy Bannister's implant footage from me. Thelma says, all these anti-implant groups have now become quite violent. My assistant Michael was also badly beaten by these people yesterday. So I advise you to return this Charles Bannister implant chip to his wife. Alan says, I can't return this footage to her, because I saw the man in that footage whom I have been looking for many years. Alan is talking to Thelma about that fat man with glasses, whom he thought was Louis. Then Alan leaves Thelma's place and arranges a gun for himself. After that, Alan arranges a meeting with Fletcher at a railway station. And there, Fletcher meets Alan and says, look around you. 1 out of every 20 people here has an implant chip inside them. And this thing has ruined our society, because every person thinks that everything they are doing, everything is being recorded in someone's memory. People's natural behavior has completely changed. Every person has a basic right that they don't want to appear in someone's video. Alan says, I didn't invent this technology. People like this technology because it was fulfilling an important need for them. That's why people are using it. Then Fletcher accuses Alan. You present murderers and criminals as saints by showing only the good deeds of their life in the rememory video, and their bad deeds never come in front of the world. That's why I need Charles Bannister's Zoe implant footage, because he was an employee of the eye-tech company. But I know that Charles did a lot of bad things in his life. If I get that footage, I will show it to the press. And by creating a scandal, I will ruin the eye-tech company, so that they won't be able to put Zoe implants in people anymore. Alan asks Fletcher, are you doing all this for your sister? Fletcher says, I am doing all this so that a good society can be created. Then Alan refuses to give Fletcher that video footage and leaves from there. In the next scene of the movie, it is shown that Alan has gone to meet Charles's wife, and Alan asks Jennifer some questions about Charles. And indirectly, he tries to find out about the man with glasses at the party. Then Jennifer finds it very strange that Alan is asking about the people at the party instead of Charles's important life events. And Jennifer tells Alan, don't focus on these unnecessary things. Alan understands that Jennifer is not going to give him any information. Then Alan makes an excuse that he needs to talk to Isabel, your daughter, about something important. Then Jennifer introduces Alan to Isabel, and Alan tries to befriend Isabel. Then Isabel doesn't want to talk anything about her father. Then Alan says, I won't ask you about your father. And while talking, Alan asks Isabel about that fat man with glasses. Isabel knew that man, so she says, that fat man with glasses was Uncle Mr. Lewis Hunt, who used to teach me but now he is dead because he died in a car accident last year. Alan is happy to know this, as he finally confirms that the man was indeed Louis. Alan always felt guilty that Louis died because of him. Then Alan goes to Thelma's assistant Hassan and asks for his help because Hassan's cousin worked at the iTech company's store. So Alan sits in Hassan's car and reaches the iTech company's store. Then Hassan's cousin Kareem takes Alan and Hassan to the iTech company's record room. From there, by checking the register, Alan finds out that the files of all people around his age are in the iTech's 1500 series box. Alan goes there and searches for the box, and he finds that box. And he starts looking for Louis' file in that file, but he doesn't find any file for Louis Hunt. Then Alan's eyes fall on another file, and this file had A.W. Hackman written on it. When Alan opens that file and looks, he finds out that he also has a Zoe implant, which his parents had put in him when he was born. When Alan finds out about the Zoe implant, his world completely changes. Alan becomes very upset and calls Delilah to meet him. Delilah and Alan spend some time together, and Alan starts feeling better. Then Alan drops Delilah at home and goes out of the house. Then Alan goes alone to a tattoo shop where tattoos are made that stop the Zoe implant's video and audio recording, because this tattoo ink creates a magnetic field that stops the Zoe implant from working. Alan has come to get such a tattoo. Then the lady working there says, "First, I will put an audio tattoo on you. After putting it, if you don't get any migraine pain or any problem, then after a week, I will put the video tattoo on you. And after that, the Zoe implant will completely stop recording video and audio." Alan gets that tattoo and returns to his house, where he sees Delilah sitting at his machine, and she was watching some videos which were footage from her ex-boyfriend's Zoe implant, which had all of Delilah's intimate moments and all the moments she spent with her boyfriend. Delilah is shocked to know that Alan had seen her ex-boyfriend's Zoe implant and thinks maybe that's why Alan approached her. Then Delilah, in anger, punches Alan hard and says, "You have no right to watch the personal videos of me and my ex-boyfriend." Then Delilah also sees Alan's gun and asks, "What were you going to do by keeping this gun with you?" Then Delilah, in anger, picks up the gun and shoots at the machine. And that bullet destroys Charles Bannister's Zoe implant. Then Alan starts crying in front of Delilah, saying, "Why did you do this?" Then Delilah leaves from there in anger. Then Alan takes the damaged implant to Hassan, and Hassan looks at the implant and says, "It is completely destroyed. Now no video footage can be extracted from it." Alan says, "Then we'll have to extract the footage another way. You'll have to extract that footage from the implant chip in my brain. The footage I saw of Charles Bannister can be found from there." Hassan is shocked to hear this and punches Alan hard. In the next scene of the movie, it is shown that Alan regains consciousness and is sitting on a chair, and Thelma and Hassan were standing in front of him. Thelma says to Alan, "Why didn't you tell us earlier that you have a Zoe implant inside you?" Alan says, "I didn't even know myself that I had a Zoe implant because my parents died in my childhood, so no one told me about this. And I never thought that my parents could afford a Zoe implant." Thelma says there is a rule for cutters, and it clearly states this can only be done once with a living person, and it wasn't very successful either. The first time it was done, that woman lost her mental balance. Alan says, "I want you to do this experiment with me again. If you don't help me, I'll try it myself, even if it costs me my life." But Hassan agrees to connect to Alan's implant, and Hassan connects to Alan's brain. Alan has only 5 minutes to view his life's footage. As soon as the connection goes live, Alan starts seeing past footage of his life, and Alan goes back to the past and sees that his parents were dead, and he was looking at them. Then Alan is at the place where he and Louis were playing. Then Alan sees that when Louis falls into that big chamber, Alan sees that he had run to Louis, but he notices something special in this footage. When he went to Louis, Louis was breathing, and a can of paint gets hit by Alan's foot, and red paint spills out from it, which also got on Alan's shoes. Alan then feels that what he thought was blood was actually red paint, and Louis was breathing, meaning Louis was alive. Then Hassan says, 5 minutes are up. Now I'm breaking this connection for your safety. As soon as the connection is broken, Alan gets a jolt and falls down. Alan has finally gotten rid of the biggest guilt of his life today, which had troubled him until now. Then Alan returns to his house. Alan enters his house and sees that Fletcher and his partner are searching his house. Then Alan gives Fletcher Bannister's Zoe implant and says it has been destroyed. Fletcher gets very angry hearing this and says, "Do you know what all we did to get this?" Then Alan doesn't respond. So Fletcher takes Alan's notes from there. The next day, Alan goes to Jennifer Bannister's house and tells her, "Your husband's implant has been destroyed. There was some technical glitch in my machine because of which, and I'm sorry that I couldn't make your husband's re-memory video. Hearing this, Jennifer shows a little sadness and then says, "No one can stop any kind of accident, and this was a technical problem. It's not your fault. But I would like you not to tell anyone about whatever you saw of Charles's life." Then Alan promises Jennifer that he won't tell anyone about it. All this was being heard by Jennifer's daughter, Isabel, who was standing there. After Alan leaves, Isabel starts looking at Jennifer because she realized that her mother also knew what her father did with her when they were alone. Still, her mother never stopped her father. Jennifer tries to explain to Isabel, but Isabel runs away from there. On the other hand, Alan goes to a cemetery and searches for Louis's grave there, and he finds Louis Hunt's grave. Then someone calls out to Alan. Alan turns to look and sees Fletcher standing behind him. Then Fletcher says, "In our field, news can't stay secret for long. I heard that some cutter contacted the tattoo people and got an audio tattoo on his body, and I know very well that that cutter is you. Now, even if Bannister's implant is destroyed, you saw all its recordings, and all that must be recorded in your implant now. Now I will extract that footage from your implant and ruin the iTech company." Hearing this, Alan understands that Fletcher has come here to take his life, and he starts running from there to save himself. Fletcher has a gun in his hand, and he runs after Alan, shooting at him. Alan is somehow dodging the bullets, and he trips and falls at one place. But Fletcher's heart changes, and he can't shoot Alan. Alan also gets up and starts to leave from there when someone shoots at him. This bullet was fired by one of Fletcher's partners from the bushes, and Alan dies there on the spot. In the next scene of the movie, it is shown that Fletcher has removed the implant from Alan's brain, and now he is watching all the footage of Alan's life. While watching the footage, he also finds that footage of Charles Bannister, in which Charles Bannister was doing wrong things with his daughter Isabel. Fletcher got the evidence he needed about Charles Bannister. Then Fletcher sees Alan's footage in which he is getting ready in front of a mirror. Fletcher looks into Alan's eyes and says to him, "Your footage will be used for a noble cause, which will benefit the whole world." Fletcher makes this promise to Alan, and the movie ends here. So friends, this movie was released in 2004, and at that time, the concept of vlogging hadn't fully developed yet. But this movie tells us about a very big problem in our life. We often watch celebrity vlogs and get influenced by them. We think that those people are living such a good life, and our life is so boring. And we feel this way because celebrities only show us the good moments of their life. But there is also a dark side to their life that we never get to see. Just like Alan worked as a cutter, he only added the good moments of a person's life to the video, so that the person's life looks good in it, and people can know how innocent and good this person is. But Alan used to delete the dark side of their life. So friends, tell us how you liked this video in the comment section. Don't forget to like our video, because the picture is still remaining, my friends.